Well, once again, good afternoon and welcome to today's Presort and Post-Presort software webinar, the latest in an ongoing series of educational webinars from WindowBook. My name is Wallace Vinglis and I'm Vice President here at WindowBook. Today's webinar will discuss the two different types of software you need to use to be successful in today's and tomorrow's mailing world, Presort and Post-Presort software. We'll also look at why having post-presort software is becoming more and more critical to keeping up with all the latest initiatives from the Postal Service. How are we going to spend our time together today? We're going to look at the two different types of software, presort and post-presort software. We're going to look at how they differ from each other, how they work together, and why you need both to be successful. So let's take a look first at presort software. This is actually, I know a lot of you probably think, oh, presort software, that's the one thing I have that takes my name and address records and sorts it for the Postal Service and I get my discounts. Well, for years, we think you'd be correct. And that's the way I always thought, coming from that background. These days, though, we take a different look at it. It's more, pre-sort. Everything leading up to and including the actual presort step. That's your address verification and hygiene software, including CAS and move update. That's your mailing list management if you're going to be doing any selections, any merge purge type processing, and then of course the actual presort itself. So just going into a little bit about our presort software. When you're talking address hygiene, you want to make sure you follow the 3 C's of address hygiene. You want addresses that are complete, correct, and current. And in order to do that, the first step is to use CAS certified software to make sure that your addresses are complete and correct. In the first step, you're going to compare your address records against a number of range possibilities in the Postal Service ZIP+4 database. Okay, so for instance, your input record may be 123 Main Street, and that ZIP+4 database is going to say, hey, I have valid addresses in the range of 100 through 200 Main Street. So it's going to pass that level of verification. Next, it's going to bump against the delivery point validation file. This is a file that's built into your CAS certified software that validates down to the actual delivery point whether or not that is a deliverable address. So 123 Main Street may actually come back saying, nope, we have up through 122, and then we start again at 124, so 123 is not a deliverable address. It's also going to bump against the LaxLink file. LaxLink being originating from something back in the early 80s called the Locatable Address Conversion System. And this just tells if an address has been converted from a rural route box number type address to a street style address. For instance, rural route 4, box 10 converts to 789 Elm Street. Now that's the majority of the records that are on that LaxLink file. There are other ones. For instance, if the Postal Service renumbers P.O. boxes, those renumbering schemes will be in that LaxLink file, as well as if they just add, if they renumber or rename streets. All that conversion information is in that file. SweetLink is also part of address hygiene software now, and as of coming up in August, just a couple of months from now, it will be required use when you're doing a CAS certified hygiene process. This is a file from the Postal Service that can either correct or append secondary address information like suite numbers or floor numbers for any input records that already have a company name present on it and that match against the USPS database. Continuing along with our address hygiene in the pre-sort section,